Hi guys, welcome back to Aunt Susie's Kitchen. Today we are making, drum roll please, Guinness bread. Guinness bread is a delicious quick bread that you could make any time of the year, but I especially like to make it this time of year around St. Patty's Day. So let's go ahead and get started. I have here 3 cups of all-purpose flour. By weight, it's 15 ounces, and I'm just going to give it a quick pass through my sifter. I like to sift my flour for a couple of reasons. One, it will get out any lumps that are in the flour, and it will also aerate the flour and make it light and fluffy and give me a much lighter finished product. And I also find when I sift my flour that the other ingredients I'm going to add will incorporate much easier. I also have a half a teaspoon of salt here, along with 4 teaspoons of baking powder. I'll just pass that through really quickly. The baking powder is going to interact with the Guinness, and that's going to be our lift with this quick bread. There is no yeast in this bread at all. So we'll mix in the salt, and then we're going to go ahead and add 2/3 of a cup of dark brown sugar. This brown sugar has been lightly packed, so you definitely want to use the back of your whisk or a spoon and just break it up so that you don't have any lumps. Okay, I have 1/3 of a cup of quick oats, and it's important that you use quick oats for this. I also have 1/3 of a cup reserved, and I'm going to use those later on for the topping. All right, now for the star of the show, 12 ounces of Guinness Draft Stout. And isn't it ironic that the bottles are 11 ounces, so of course you have to open up a second bottle to make 1 time the recipe, and then that's my perfect excuse to make 2 times the recipe. All right, we're going to stir this all together. And we don't want to over stir. Remember, it's not a yeasted dough. We're not looking to develop the gluten. We're just looking to incorporate everything together and make sure that there isn't any flour or oats that aren't coated in the batter. And then once we do that, we're going to set it to the side. And immediately, the beer and the baking powder are going to start to go to work and create a light and fluffy consistency in that batter. So let's get our baking vessels ready. And I say vessels because you can really use whatever you like. I happen to have these paper boats that I use exactly for stuff like this. I am preparing this one with a little bit of, I can't believe it's not butter vegan, because my daughter is vegan. And so by using that, this is something that she can enjoy also. If you like to use a spray, you can use a spray. You can use regular butter. You can use parchment paper. There's no wrong answer here, but I definitely recommend that you prep the bottoms of these boats with something because they are paper. They're going to stick otherwise. Okay. Now, when it comes to filling them, I like to use a large scoop. I find that the large scoop does a couple of things. It helps me make sure that I don't get batter all over my counter, and it also helps me scoop it out in even proportions. So this recipe will normally make 36 ounces. And so I'm going to make 4 9-ounce loaves today, but normally I will make 3 12-ounce loaves. I'm making 4 today because my daughter wants to take some home with her. So I'll get an extra loaf out of it, and they'll be a little bit smaller than normal, but you definitely could make them bigger or smaller depending on, whatever your needs are. And like I said, as that batter sat, it started to aerate, it got some lift. You don't want to stir it, you don't want to break those bubbles up because that's the entire amount of rise that's going to come out of this bread is going to come just from the baking soda and the beer. So, you don't want to get rid of those air bubbles because they definitely are your friend. Okay, great. So I have those quick oats that I reserved on the side, and I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle the top of all of these breads. And the only oats that are going to stick are the ones that are making contact with the bread. So don't put a whole bunch of oats, because all that's going to happen is when you pop them out of these boats and go to cut them, you're going to wind up with oats all over your counter. So be generous, but don't be overly generous because it's just going to, fall off anyway. I really like the way that this looks when the bread rises and it kind of cracks in the center a little bit, and then all of the oats are still clinging to it. Looks really nice. And the fact that the bread is brown, I think adds to the character of, you know, the finished product. Okay, I think that's enough. We have a 350-degree oven that's been preheated, and we're going to go ahead and put these in and cook them for about 50 minutes. If you have a convection oven, you want to reduce that time to maybe about 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes. Keep an eye on them, you know, test them. And when they are done, you can pull them, let them cool on a rack. It's such a quick recipe. It comes together so fast. My family loves this bread. Toast it with butter, with jelly. Sometimes they'll butter it and put it on a griddle. Really delicious. Share them. Get in the kitchen. Make them. Your friends and family will thank you. In the meantime, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit that little bell so you never miss another video. Visit us on social media. We are Aunt Susie's Kitchen on Facebook, Aunt Susie's Kitchen on Instagram, and of course here on YouTube. And don't forget to come back and see us again, because there's always something good cooking in Aunt Susie's Kitchen.